have to take some plants out of my balcony garden. And it's these 6 plants over here. Because I have a problem. I have 2 billietiaes and both of them outgrew their pots probably a while back. And I didn't stake the leaves. And so they're kind of messy and they're blocking access to my water taps. And then these Clerodendrums, I got them last month, but because they were still blooming, I didn't change this pot yet. But now that the blooming season is over, it's time to take action. And this Philodendron maximum, it keeps toppling at the slightest touch. I had to tip the pot a little bit using caps so that it would stop toppling. I've been waiting to find the perfect pot for it, but I kind of got tired of waiting, so I want to do it now. And this peace lily, it's so root bound, I think it's going to explode from its pot. So they all need to be repotted. But why am I moving them out instead? Let me tell you a little backstory. So I've been thinking about this repotting project for a while, but I didn't get to it. And a week ago, I finally decided to embark on this little project of mine. And the plan was really simple. I will use the 2 unused pots that I have, and then I will repot both the billies together in one pot, and then I'll move the Philodendron maximum to this pot, and I will reuse the old transparent pots for the Clerodendrums. So I ordered all the soil I need online, they arrived, and I started working on the project. But then, just as I gathered everything and I wanted to get started, and then I noticed that I ran out of large pumice. And I always have large pumice at home. And so, without it, I have to stop everything and wait for another online order to arrive. Well, the pumice arrived 2 days later. But by that time, I started second-guessing all my choices. Should I really put both billies in one big pot? What if they compete with each other? But if I put them in separate pots, do I have space for them? At this point, I just needed to do something. So I decided to start with the straightforward ones, that is the peace lily, and I would use whatever existing pot I have and use whatever soil I have ordered. And just as I get started, I realized that I don't have enough soil. At this point, it was clear I need to change strategy. If I couldn't repot them at home, I would take them somewhere that had everything I needed. And I would take all the plants that needed repotting with me. And I got to my usual shop where I get soil, unloaded all my plants, and because it was late, I had to leave my plants there and come back the next day. But because I needed new bigger pots to repot some of them, so I drove to my other usual shop that sells pots. And I had a friend that came with me that day, because choosing a pot can be a decision paralysis. Well, it took us a while, but eventually we got a few new pots. As usual, I got the guys to open more drainage holes for me, and they helped me to load up my car with all these new pots, and off I went. This area has many plant nurseries, and it's very hard for a plant enthusiast to not take a detour. And so we just went around to look at plants and didn't have anything specific in mind. And then I saw a plant that I've been thinking about. And that is these Plumbagos. I mean, look at the colors of the flowers. So yeah, I picked up some Plumbagos and also another Bougainvillea. And then we took everything to the shop that sells soil again, where I could get a little repotting help and buy whatever I need on the spot. Before starting, I also discussed with the shopkeeper the conditions of where each plant would be placed, and then the repotting process began. But soon, I ran into another problem. The new pot that I bought for the Philodendron maximum was a tad too small. But luckily, I had brought an extra big pot with me, so I had to change strategy immediately. And then next came my 2 new plants, which I also got new pots for them. But since I had just bought them, I hadn't had time to research on their ideal soil mix. So I had to wing it. No pots were left unused. The square pot that the Philodendron maximum couldn't fit into is now the home of the new Bougainvillea. We also repotted my friend's new plants, and this whole process took way longer than expected. Since we had so many pots of plants, we had to hire a van to transport everything back home. But then, we underestimated just how many pots of plants we have. The van we ordered was too small. So we had to spend some time to maneuver and rearrange everything to make it fit. Finally, all the plants are back in my balcony garden. And I can rearrange this messy corner that I can hardly pass through before. And now that some of the plants are in bigger pots, I had to rearrange some areas as well. But this is already the easy part. This repotting project started off simple, but with all the setbacks, it felt like it would never happen. But now that everything is in place, I feel a huge sense of relief. It was a challenge, but seeing these plants in their new pots makes it all worth it. I can't wait to watch them grow.